In 2023, someone found Peppa Pig's house. Not a replica, not a theme park attraction. The actual house, on a hill, in the English countryside, looking exactly like the cartoon. And if that house can exist in real life, what other secrets is Peppa's house hiding? Because once you start looking, you realize there's something deeply weird going on. Rooms that shouldn't fit, cellars that appear out of nowhere, a town named after one specific child. So today we're opening the case file on Peppa's house and all its hidden details, starting with the house that broke the internet. Peppa's real house. In 2023, a TikTok user was casually driving through the English countryside when they spotted it. A small house, on a hill, with a red roof, sitting there, alone, looking exactly like Peppa Pig's house. The video went mega viral because people couldn't believe it. Was this the real Peppa house? Did the animators base it on this place? Or did someone build this house because of Peppa Pig? Now, the official explanation is actually pretty innocent. The creators have said they wanted the show to look like a child's drawing. Mark Baker explained that the show is framed from a kid's perspective, and when children draw houses, they always put them on hills. Alone, isolated, with a big triangle roof. It's just how kids see the world. Also, apparently, the massive hill is just funny. But here's what we don't know. Why does this real house exist? Who lives there? And are they aware they're living in a cartoon landmark? Theory, either this is the most elaborate Peppa Pig fan tribute in history, or the animators drove past this exact hill one day and said, yeah, that's the one, that's Peppa's vibe. Either way, the fact that Peppa's house exists in real life makes everything we're about to discuss even weirder, because if the outside is real, what does that say about all the impossible stuff happening inside? Buckle up, we're going in. The tiny outside, huge inside house problem. Okay, we need to talk about the architectural nightmare that is Peppa's house. From the outside, it's a tiny triangle on a hill, a simple little structure. But then you go inside and physics has left the chat. There's a full kitchen, a living room, a dining area, an upstairs with multiple bedrooms. There are hallways, there are stairs. And then in the Power Cut episode, Mummy Pig casually drops this bomb.
I think there's a torch in the cellar.
I'm sorry? The what? This house, this tiny triangular house sitting on top of a hill, has a cellar? Where is it? How does it fit? Did Daddy Pig dig into the hill like a hobbit? Is the cellar just a cave they claimed as storage? And why has it literally never been mentioned before or since? But here's where it gets even weirder. The show knows this doesn't make sense. And in the episode The Camper Van, it basically confesses. Peppa's family borrows a camper van for a trip, and when they get inside, it's got this whole second level. Beds, storage, a little kitchen setup. It's way bigger on the inside than it should be. And Peppa notices. She looks around and says,
"Camper van is just like our little house."
Hold on, Peppa's making a direct comparison. She's acknowledging that their house also does this impossible thing where it's small on the outside and massive on the inside. The show just told us the house doesn't obey the laws of physics. So what's the theory? Either Peppa Town runs on cartoon space where dimensions are just suggestions, or these houses are dug into the hills like icebergs. The triangle is just the entrance and everything else extends underground. Which would explain the cellar, the extra rooms, and why every house sits on a hill in the first place. They're not houses, they're bunkers. The mystery of Peppa Town. So now that we've established Peppa's house is literally sitting on a hill in real life, let's talk about something even weirder, the town itself. Because it's not called Pig Town, it's not called Animal Village or Farmland Heights or anything remotely generic, and it's called Peppa Town, as in named after a 4-year-old pig who spends most of her time jumping in puddles and hanging up on her friends mid-phone call. Now you might be thinking, oh, that's just branding. It's a show called Peppa Pig, so obviously the town is Peppa Town. Sure, except in the actual universe of the show, this is what the town is called. The characters refer to it as Peppa Town. It shows up on maps. It's not a marketing gimmick, it's canon. So why is an entire municipality named after one specific child? Let's look at the evidence. In the episode The Queen, Peppa literally meets the Queen, the actual Queen of England. And what does Peppa do? Does she curtsy? Does she show even a shred of respect for the monarchy? No. She immediately lays down the law. She shouts at the reigning monarch.
You can't walk around a muddy puddle.
The Queen looks confused, and Peppa doubles down.
You have to jump in it.
And here's the kicker. The Queen listens. She doesn't have Peppa arrested for treason. She doesn't call security. She jumps in the puddle like she's taking orders. Let's just pause here. A regular kid doesn't just boss around the Queen of England. You know who does? Other royalty. equals people who are used to being obeyed. And it's not just this episode. Throughout the series, Peppa has main character energy. She's constantly in charge, being bossy, and everyone just goes along with it. So here's the theory. Either Peppa was named after Peppa Town because her family founded it, or Peppa Town was named after her because she's not just some random kid. She's royalty, or close to it. Maybe she's a princess. Maybe she's next in line for a throne that nobody mentions because Peppa Town pretends to be a democracy now. But one way or another, this town didn't name itself after her by accident. And if that's true, it explains everything. Why her house is on the biggest hill, why she can tell the queen what to do, and why, against all logic, an entire town is named after a child who hasn't even started year one yet. Peppa isn't bossy, she's in charge. Everyone lives on hills. In Peppa Pig, nobody lives on a normal street. Nobody has a neighbor they can wave to from their front door. Nobody lives in a cul-de-sac or a townhouse or anywhere remotely practical. Every single house is perched on its own dramatic hill, isolated and alone, like someone deliberately wanted every family as far apart as possible. But then you watch the episode The Biggest Muddy Puddle in the World, and suddenly the hills feel a lot less whimsical and a lot more like disaster preparedness. Because in this episode, it rains a lot, and the narrator calmly announces,
"The rain has made a flood."
A flood, not a puddle, not a little stream, a flood. And what does Peppa say when she sees the water surrounding their house?
Our house is a desert island.
She's not panicking. She's not concerned. She's delighted because their house, sitting high up on that ridiculous hill, is completely safe. The water doesn't even reach them. Meanwhile, the rest of the town, also fine, because every house is on a hill. It's like the entire town was built with flooding in mind. Like someone sat down with a town planner and said, okay, what if it rains a lot? And the planner said, easy. We put every single house on its own individual hill. Problem solved. And you know what? It worked. So here's the theory. The hills aren't just a cute aesthetic choice, they're flood proofing. Peppa Town is a town that expects to flood. Maybe it's built on a floodplain. Maybe there was a catastrophic flood in the past that wiped out the old town, and when they rebuilt, they said, never again. Or maybe Peppa Town is preparing for something that hasn't happened yet. Because if you were designing a town that needed to survive rising water levels, environmental disaster, or just really aggressive rain, you'd do exactly what Peppa Town did. Build every house on a hill, make sure everyone's safe, and maybe, just maybe, dig those houses deep into the hills like bunkers. So when the next flood comes, you've got storage, supplies, and a cellar full of torches. The hills aren't cute, they're a contingency plan. So there you have it. Peppa's house isn't just a cartoon background. It's a physics-defying, flood-resistant bunker on a hill in a town that may or may not be named after a 4-year-old with royal connections. But here's the question. What other weird details about the house have we missed? Drop your theories in the comments. While you're here, don't forget to check out our other Peppa Pig videos. We've uncovered so many secrets at this point that we're probably banned from Peppa Town for life. Thank you for watching.